Hello, hello, welcome to Siege Budget Brews. I'm Tim, and tonight, continuing our series of $100 deck techs, we're going to go over Dragon Daddy. That's Korvold for those of you at home. But before we get started, please check out our Discord and our Patreon. Links are in the description below. And if you like our content, please hit that like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out. And I'm joined by my co-host as always, Brandon. How you doing tonight, boss?
I'm doing great, Tim. I'm excited to go over Korvold.
I bet you are. You were kind of chomping at the bit like one of those hyenas on the Lion King looking at this list.
Oh yeah, I was looking at it. I was like, oh no, now I have to build
I
it.
know, right? All right, well, let's get going. Boom. All right, so Korvold, for those living under a rock, is 1 green, 1 red, 1 black, 2 colorless. It's a 4/4 flyer. Dragon Noble, legendary creature. Haha. When Korvold enters the battlefield or attacks, you have to sacrifice another permanent. All right, that's important. Cannot sack himself. And whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a 1/1 counter on Korvold and you draw a card. So we're playing the Korvold because not only do we get to jund people out, but we also get to draw a fuck ton of cards while we're doing it. Basically, the inspiration for this deck, Ben Shiner's Korvold Treasure Storm, that him and Jamaican dude were in a video a little while back with me about. The basic premise is that you play Korvold and then you use the sac effects, like things to like that sacrifice to kind of generate value, which we'll go over here in a moment. Now, whereas the budgetless version of the deck leverages Dockside a lot, for $100, we're not playing Dockside. So we had to get a little creative to kind of keep that same storm feel and that breach feel, but still kind of keep it within parameters. So one of the main ways you're going to kind of go infinite with the deck is you'll play Underworld Breach, and we have some tutors to go find them, which we'll talk about in a bit. And then you're going to play this card called Stitcher Supplier. Stitcher Supplier is a 1/1 for a black, and then when it enters the battlefield or dies, it mills 3 cards. So when it comes in, it mills 3, and then when it dies, it mills 3. So what you do is you play that with a card called Infernal Plunge, or Calling of the Week. And Calling of the Week is pay a black, sack a creature, and then you generate 4 black. So basically what you do is you play the Stitcher Supplier, it mills 3, then you sack it to the Calling Ritual, making 4 black and milling 6. Then you escape the 3 cards, replay the Supplier, mill 3 more, escape 3 cards, sack it to the Calling in a week, and now you've got a bunch of black mana, right? Then what we do is we can begin leveraging things like Peer into the Abyss to draw a bunch of cards. Plus, if we have Korvold in play, every time we sack a permanent, we're drawing a card. So every iteration of the escape 6 and then make 4 black, we're going to get a card off of that. So we'll put 1 in hand, 3 in the yard, or 6 in the yard, and then 6 of those get it, and then those 6 get escaped. All right. Then we have a lot of so outside of playing the storm stuff, we have just lots of, we have all your basic rituals like Infernal Plunge, Rite of Flame. We're gonna run Dark Ritual, Reign of Filth. Hey, guess what? It sacks and makes mana. We'll run Calling of the Week. We are not on Cabal Ritual because I found, in my experience with a deck like this, without all of the bells and whistles, we have a hard time hitting threshold. Plus, it was like $9. So I kind of was like, nah. We also have Calling Ritual, which will make a lot of mana once we blow up everybody's stuff. Because we like blowing up stuff. And then we have a lot of these sack dorks where they come and you pay out, they kind of act like a mana battery. Skirk Prospector is one. Goldhound is another. Impulsive Pilferer. That one will allow us to start filtering black mana because of the treasures. We got Wild Cantor. We also have Tinderwall. All of those kind of sack to make some amount, like want some type of mana, as well as like Orcish Lumberjack, which will allow us to sack a forest to add 3 mana of any combination of red and green. And then kind of we're pretty heavy on we're on 6 forests, plus we're running like Cinderglade and Mountain Valley to help us find more, as well as so we're on like Mountain Valley and Rocky Tar Pit, as well as Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds. Because what we want is we just really want like a high density of sack effects that we can use to help us like get draw triggers with Korvold. All right. And a lot of the slower fetches are still pretty decent at getting us the lands we need. Essentially, I look at the Rocky Tar Pit and the Mountain Valley as a land that just comes in to play tap. Like it's playing like a Scryland or like a Triome or something. We don't have a high density of them, but we're playing 4 total. We have the Expanse, the Evolving Wilds, and then the Rocky Tar Pit and the Mountain Valley, which those will get us like Smoldering Marsh and Cinderglade, as well as basics if we want. And those come into play untapped. So once we have them, you know. Then we're running like Witchclaw Talisman as 1 tutor. We also have Demir Machinations. We have Mastermind's Acquisition, Diabolic Intent, Final Parting, and this is kind of a little pet one of mine, is Demonic Bargain. It's 3 mana, exile 13 cards, and then you search your library for any card. We're also running like just a couple of like land tutors. So like Edge of Autumn will help us ramp, as well as like Harrow. But both of those have a sack clause that we can get value with Korvold. So it's like pay 3 mana, draw a card, and then put 2 lands into play. And in the instance of Harrow, they come in untapped. So that's kind of nice. We're also running like Village Rites as like a draw spell, crop rotation, just a way to help us fix and get like a lot of these instances are just going to help us get additional draw triggers as we kind of build up. Like same thing with like Mind Collapse, Thunderclap, like those are all just you sack a mountain and then you have an effect. You kill a creature. You know what I mean? And then we've got like some protection for Korvold, like in the form of like Bolt Bend. We have like Red Blast, Autumn's Veil. Those all kind of help us like keep Korvold alive. Ricochet Trap is another one. Basically, Ricochet Trap, Bolt Bend cost 1 red when Korvold's in play, or if an opponent plays like a blue spell. So those can like redirect like bounce spells and removal. We're also running like shout out to Big Richie, turned me on to this Return to Nature. It's a ultra budget all-star. All 3 modes are like super effective. And then like to close out the game, we have like two main ways to do it. And then there's like 1 to like kind of 2 like half ways to do it. So 1 is we assemble Witherbloom Apprentice and Chain of Smog. The Chain of Smog will allow us to target ourselves for a black and a colorless, discard a card. And then we could just repeat that as many times as we want. Now, we will discard our whole hand to do so, but Witherbloom Apprentice has Magecraft, and it's whenever you cast or copy a spell, copy an instant or sorcery, each opponent will lose a life and you'll gain a life. So basically with Chain of Smog, you can just keep copying the Chain of Smog over and over and over and kill everybody. And then the other way to do it is we have Dualcaster Mage, and then we have like Twin Flame and Heat Shimmer. The way that works is we have to have a creature in play, which is another reason why you want to run all of those mana batteries, because like all the Impulsive Pilferer and stuff, is because we need creatures in play to target with the Twin Flame and the Heat Shimmer. And then in response, we flash in the Dualcaster Mage, copy in the Twin Flame or Heat Shimmer, which will allow us to copy the Dualcaster Mage and make infinite 2/2s. And then we can swing out with our 2/2s and kill everybody. Or if we're really spicy, we play a Witherbloom Apprentice, right? We cast a Twin Flame on it, triggering the Magecraft. Respond to the Magecraft trigger by flashing in a Dualcaster Mage. targeting the Twin Flame. Then we will copy the Twin Flame with the Dualcaster Mage and make infinite Dualcaster Mages, but in the process, we're copying the spell infinitely, and we'll kill everybody that way. So the most you'll spend for this to kill a table, and this is like the high end of the combo. One is like 3 cards, like the clunkiest version is 3 cards, and it is triple red, 1 black, 1 green, 3 colors. So that's Heat Shimmer plus Wither Rune Apprentice plus Dualcaster Mage. So that is 3, 6, 8 mana. All right. That's only 1 more than playing Peer into the Abyss. Even though Peer is 1 card versus 3. But the thing is that we have like the Stitcher supplier with the Calling of the Week to kind of help us mill into it. And then kind of what you do is you'll draw some of the pieces and you'll hit them off the breach as well. You know what I'm saying? And then in the meantime, we just simply junned people out with Korvold. Because we just start playing, like, this will give us 3 mana for a sack effect. Like, we play we'll play Dreaded Fag, Duress, and those kind of, like, start attacking people's hands a little bit. You know, we've got Calling Ritual to, like, wipe the board of all their little bullshit. We got a lot of removal, sack a permanent, like, sacrifice, like, something, and then it has an effect like it'll destroy a creature, draw some cards. Like this Deadly Dispute here is 2 mana, sack a creature or artifact. That gives us 1 draw trigger. Then we'll draw 2 more cards, and then we make 2 treasures, and then the treasures will give us 2 more draw triggers. Like Strike It Rich, for example, is 1 red, make a treasure, and then we pay 3 to flash it back to make another treasure. So that's like 1 red draw card with Korvold out. And then there's like
even then, like generating 8 mana is not hard in Jund colors.
Not in this. Here's a spicy one for you. So Impulsive Pilferer plus Skirk Prospector with Korvold out takes us from 4 mana to 7, and then we get like 5 draw triggers off of it.
Wait. Hold on.
Okay, so here's how this works. So you pay a red for the Prospector. You pay a red for the Pilferer. Okay. Actually, it gives you like 9 draw triggers. Then you sack the Pilferer to the Prospector for a red, generating a draw trigger off of Korvold. Okay. Then you make a treasure. You sack the treasure to make another red for 2 red now, and you get a second draw trigger. Then you tap 2 more mana. All right. To pay the escape cost. All right. Which makes the encore cost on Impulsive Pilferer.
Okay.
Which will make 3 copies of Impulsive Pilferer. All right. So we've now paid 4 mana and drawn 2 cards. Then you sack the 3 Pilferers to the Prospector for 3 red, drawing 3 more cards to 5, and we have 3 treasures. So now we can sack the 3 treasures to draw 3 more cards from 5 to 8, putting 3 more mana of whatever color we need in our pool. And then, so that puts us to 6. And then the Prospector can sack itself for a red, give us another draw trigger, put us to 9 cards, and make a 7th mana.
That's insane. That's dumb. I love that. I love every second of that.
So at worst, it like acts as a ritual that will fix mana. But if we have like something like Korvold in play, it will allow us to draw a ton of cards and ritual ourselves.
I don't know if you noticed this, Tim, but while you were saying all of that, my head was like that monkey meme where it says neuron activation. That was me the whole time. I mean
that's like, you need the 2 cards to do it, but like that's the kind of things that are built into Korvold.
Yeah.
Just kind of like the Witherbloom with the Dualcaster Mage, like instead of like the entry level exam is okay, dualcaster mage plus twin flame or witherbloom apprentice plus chain of smog, but the like I'm gonna get the giga brain play is to twin flame the witherbloom apprentice and then copy it to just kill everybody that way, and you don't need to attack. You know what I'm saying? So instead of like casting Peer into the Abyss, which is a very good idea, you can assemble things like the Prospector with the Pilferer to draw 9 cards, make 7 mana, and then do stuff with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's crazy is that like you pay 4 to get that off, and you get 7 back, so you net 3.
Yeah.
So if you need to play something that has a bunch of mana, you can just do that little combo, and there
Yeah.
you go. Now
It's
you're
like a
ahead.
seething song. It's like a
Huh?
seething song piece. It's about the rate of mana of a seething song.
Yeah.
So I play the Prospector and the Pilfer in a lot of my budget storm decks because
Mhm.
it'll make 4 red, 3 mana of any color, and it's like $1 combo. Or
Yeah.
dollar like $1 pair of cards. That I could also tutor up with either half if I would need to with like a goblin matron or something if I wanted to.
Right.
You know.
That's insane. That's crazy because I never even seen that. I see it all the time, and I just never put 2 and 2 together. That's insane.
Mhm. The deck is not the fastest deck. I want to make sure that is noted. This deck can play Korvold pretty handily on turn 4. So it's got a lot of interaction to get you there. And then once you get it online, you can pretty reliably protect Korvold with the package. You could probably tweak it a little bit, maybe play like a Greaves or some other like redirect effects. I'm sure there's some more out there. Maybe play a Pyroblast 2 or a Burnout or something that's just kind of stop stuff. But I found that the Ricochet Trap, the Bolt Bend, and um the Autumn's Veil is kind of, well, not like 100% enough. Like it gives me enough to kind of
To get you
protect
there.
them somewhat. You know, I mean, there's other things you could play to protect it if it's really like KOS for you. I feel like you're getting targeted heavily. Um, and it's just like you can play Breach, and then lastly, you kind of just got like a decent rock package. Like you're playing a bunch of talismans, you're playing some signets. This one is just kind of, it's a quarter. It's 50 cents, but it's like a decent little like soul ring. Late game, if you wind up drawing it off of like a storm turn or something, just pitch it to one of your effects or when you discard that hand size. Because a lot of what this deck will do is it'll play Korvold and then it'll actually spend a couple of turns just kind of grinding people, blowing up permanents, drawing some cards, getting some junding people out basically, and then attacking them with the dragon a couple times. And then once you've kind of accrued enough card advantage and enough resources, then you kind of kill everybody with with one of the combos you've assembled, and or you kind of storm off a little bit.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of my Riel deck that we went over a little while ago.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like you do your best to get Riel, or in this case, Corvold out fast, and then you spend like 1 or 2 turns just turboing into your combo, and then you combo turn and win. Is what it
yeah,
looks like to me.
yeah. So like a lot of what I was doing, like goldfish in it, is I would get Corvold out on turn 4 with protection of some sort, and then I would like when it would get targeted, like because everybody sees Corvold and they're gonna try to kill it. So you start doing things like sacking the Hound, the Cantor, the Blood Pet. You start sacking stuff to just go up a bunch of cards, and then you use those cards to reconvert back into Corvold,
Right.
or some type of like breach, turn to get to your hard outlets.
Right. I mean,
So,
in Riel, it's a lot easier to protect her because you can just run like free interaction and just be like, yeah, I'm fine. And so it's a little bit harder in here, but I get what you're saying for sure.
but I mean, at $100 you get gated on. You can't run all the free interaction. I mean,
That's
Corvold
true.
has the
That's true.
flecting SWAT. Corvold has a lot of the same stuff, and in Jund, like it's a thing, but
Yeah,
like the
it
big
doesn't have
scary,
misdirection. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have misdirection, but you know, you can like that. That's why we're running bolt bend, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
anyway, I think there could be a couple of swaps that might optimize it a little bit more, but I think this is a good starting point. So any questions?
No, I think I said everything I needed to, for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I think with that, why don't we skedaddle?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, man. Well, thanks again, and everybody, have a good night. Bye.
Bye.